It might be a little complex or seem a little complex to set up master data on document, meaning how should my information flow from customers and item or vendors and item through to sales orders and purchase orders. Let me show you how it's done. So I'll search for my master data on document setup in here. And this is the base setup that the basic setup that we have done. And you have to build this yourself because all the master data I'm showing here, of course, is for demonstration purpose. So you need to set up this completely by yourself. So I can define a template for instance, sales orders, sales quote, invoice, purchase orders, production orders, etc. And I can use a template. In this case, I use the same template, for instance, for sales orders, that even if it's independent if it's a quote, an order, an invoice, I'd like to have the same master data flowing through the setup. So I'll just drill into this by editing the list. I can go into my full list, and here I can see my templates, and of course I can build as many templates as I prefer in here. A template consists of a sales header, if it's a sales template, line and footer, and I can name this like I prefer. And if I go into my sales header, my master data header, so this is the general data for the header information, the line information, and the footer information. And if I enter my sales header setup, in here, the last one, now it's just filtering on header, and I can see the header comes from the customer if it's a customer, and I can see my purchase header here has an error because this should have been a master data type vendor, of course. So on my sales header here, I can see I have not defined any long report description, meaning I don't want any long report description or long item description, of course, coming from customers because they don't exist there. But I would like to have I can define some default setup here on how to flow the information. I can go into my specific lines. So in this case, on my sales header, I would like to add complaints and SEM files if those master data information exist on the specific customer. And on my complaints, I'd like just to add the text. On my send file, it seems like I would like to add nothing except just to have the information in here. So if I go back on my sales footer, it's the same way, it's the same table structure. I'm defining here that on my sales footer, if I go further into my setup line, here I can see that I want my information code contact and my information code trading conditions to be transferred from my customer to my sales order and further on to my posted documents. And I like the extended text to go with those. And I also here have some default setup whether to transfer to shipment or received and invoice, etc. So it's all done by setting it up. Last thing, of course, is my sales line. So in my sales line table here, it's the last one here. I can see that I would like to add long report description. So the first line on my item line would be the merge description explained in another video, that I can merge from all the master data on that specific item. And I could also add lines, so I can do one or both. So here I've also defined 5 different information codes to come as separate lines. Normally you would only do some of this, either a merge description or some specific information code. But this basically determining all my setup. So after doing this once and for all, it flows through all my documents.